What's up, folks? The GitHub MCP Registry launched recently, and it is integrated into VS Code Insiders already. I'm going to show you how you can get hands-on with this integration and use it to install and use the Playwright MCP server to create some end-to-end testing for a web application that I've created. Let's jump into it. So here is the application I'm working with. It's just an activity tracking tool. So it's something which is handy in my day-to-day, just so I know what the impact is, know what I'm really doing in my job. It's just a little bit of a fun project, which I'm just playing with on the weekend. But we need to create some end-to-end tests for it because I don't have any. So the first thing I'm going to do is go and check out the new registry for the Playwright MCP server. So in VS Code here, and yes, it is light theme, I'm going to go over to the extensions and type in @MCP, just like I would for any extension. And it's going to be pulling from the MCP registry from GitHub, which launched last week, as you can see here on the screen. There we can see Playwright. I've got a one button or one click install for this, but I've already installed it. So I can do this from within VS Code or on the registry website itself. Here we are. We can see here Playwright. And if I go to the settings, I can show the configuration JSON just like you could before. So it's all in the same place. And here it is running for me. So now that we've established that I've got the MCP installed, I'm going to go ahead and look at the config that I've already written for it. So here we can see, the base URL is localhost 3000. The Chromium I'm going to be opening up in Chromium. So Chrome, for those who don't know what that is, the web server is going to start just by using npm start. So what do I want to do? I want to go over to Copilot. So I'm going to open Copilot in a new window just like this. And then I'm going to make sure that the MCP server is actually selected from the tool picker. As you can see, I've got 144 tools, which is a little bit more than the previous 128, which you could have. And now I've gone and put in my prompt. So I'm going to say create some end-to-end tests, use the Playwright MCP server to run them, and make sure you take some screenshots and store them in this directory. Here we can see that it's created a to-do list for me, so it knows what it's got to do. And you can see here, I'm just going to whiz through this, just creating some of the tests itself and just making sure that everything's all in order. So we've got a form submission test, we've got a page load test, we've got a search functionality test, and a clear activities test as well. And here we can see that it's going to try and start the server, but I already have it started in the background, as we can see there. So I'm going to skip that, and it's going to move on to the next command or the next suggestion from Copilot. And it's going to start opening up the form on localhost 3000. And I'm going to put them side by side. This was the purpose of having Copilot show in a bigger window, in a separate window. And there we are. We just said, it's going to make some screenshots. We'll make a directory for some screenshots, and then it's going to put them into the right place in the directory at the end. And it's going through. It's done to run these tests. Everything is passing. Got a human in the loop there still. We're just going to click continue. And as we go through this, we can see that I'm not actually doing any of this myself. This is Copilot and the MCP server from Playwright that is actually doing this all by itself, which is phenomenal. This is great. This is automated testing at its finest. And here we can see it wants to start running the shell commands. But before that, I'm just going to go and have a look at the screenshots it has created for me. So we can see here, it is every single test that it has run, it has taken a screenshot of it and making sure that it is working. So once you've done with this, you can add it to pull requests. You can make sure that everything's running, everything's passing as expected. And of course, you can then go on and go a little bit further with this one if you're running this in a CI/CD pipeline. But I'm not. I'm just running this locally. And this is just to illustrate the use of GitHub Copilot, the Playwright MCP server, and how you install it and get it from the new registry. And of course, here you can jump into the files as well, just to go and check out what GitHub Copilot has written for us in terms of testing alongside Playwright. So you can go and validate everything that it has written, make sure it's working for what you need, and make sure it is testing everything that you have on your form. Because again, this is just being created by an LLM, so it doesn't have a human in the loop. You need to go and validate this yourself. There you have it. That is a really quick whiz through exactly how you can use the new GitHub MCP registry inside VS Code Insiders and using the Playwright MCP server to create some automated end-to-end tests. If you enjoyed this, head over to MCP for Beginners. It's a fantastic repository. It's got so much information on there explaining exactly what MCP is, so the Model Context Protocol, and how you can get started yourself. If you enjoyed this, check out the rest of the channel, go and see what other videos we have. Like, subscribe, you know what to do, and we'll see you in the next one.